Just wanted to tap in before I left for today. It was a great day. Typically have coaching calls at some point throughout the day. As of now, since I'm not coaching anymore, I have them in the evenings or afternoons that kind of get into, what is it, 4 o'clock? So 4:30. So about to hit home, but I really want to talk about a few things, right? One, like the amount of encouragement that you get when you surround yourself with the right amount of people. And I know a lot of us, pride ourselves on our group and pride ourselves on the people that we hang around with. But I'm here to tell you, like, when you start to expand your horizon and when you start to go outside your group and when you start to mastermind, when you start to group think, when you start to partner with people that have similar dreams as you, like, it's next level stuff. Oftentimes, we hang around the same people, and the challenge becomes that they don't see the greatness in us because they're too close, and the light is like blinding them. Right? They don't see the greatness in us because we've done it all the time. We've always cooked and it's great. We've always encouraged them and they were able to do it. We always gave them great advice and they made wise decisions. We always put them on game with the next investment opportunity, right? And so often, people take us for granted and our genius, and then we just think like, yeah, that's kind of what I do for my homies. That's what I do for my girls. That's what I do for my family. But some of those things that you do for others is something that you can be able to monetize yourself. So I'm really getting into coaching and sharing like what I've been learning for the last few years. So obviously, after the pandemic, and I had to shut down shop and kind of restart, one thing I had to figure out was like where I'm going to spend my time. And where I felt like my time was best served was serving and helping others. And in the way of business coaching, so many things that I experienced, I had to learn for the first time. So I help people identify minefields and help avoid them and figure out ways to go through the path where they can build their foundation, they can get some control and establish KPIs, and then they can drive sales. But then also, one of the things that always comes up is when we talk about our products in a program, it's always scalable products and what can you do to scale. And oftentimes, the people that are in the business is an expert. Maybe it's a barber, a stylist, maybe it's someone who figured out Airbnb, corporate housing, assisted living. Whatever your genius is, this is the day and age where if you were able to create a curriculum where you took people that were interested in what you did and you showed them your proven product and your proven process, they will pay you anywhere from $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $10,000. Crazy, right? I know you're like, damn, G, that's a lot of money. Why? How will they pay you that much? The amount of money that they pay you is determined by the amount of value that you create. So if you're in a season of you're trying to figure out like what you need to do, you need to become someone of value. You need to create a skill that you could sell, that you could offer to the marketplace in exchange of cash. And I promise you, if you're able to offer someone some sort of value that they don't want to do, they don't know how to do, they don't like to do, and you could come in there and do that for them, like they would pay you like very well. So I hope you're thinking about something or thinking about an industry, an area of your life that you could constantly sharpen that saw and position yourself as the expert. One of the areas for me, right, is like I always think of when I'm making a decision, like what will my highest and best self do? I'll call it my championship self, right? I had the opportunity to win a championship. The winner Super Bowl is like the highest height. So I always think about this championship mindset. So what I done, I created a course on this topic of championship mindset. As a speaker, a lot of times when I'm speaking with schools and organizations, they ask if you have any additional resources, books. I've written books, workbooks, and courses. So in addition to your speaker fee, you can also get another fee by creating some type of curriculum, right? So the championship mindset I created just to really dive in and talk to people about what this really means. What does it mean to have a championship mindset? And if this is someone or something that you were interested in, I'm gonna go over it real quick. So obviously my story was at Rutgers University, I was a walk-on. That means I did not earn a scholarship. I had to pay tuition 2 years in order to play. And I know you're probably thinking like, damn, but they sucked back then. You're probably thinking they suck now, right? Although we had a very close game in Michigan. First half, I think we were up. Second half got away from us, but that's neither here nor there. But did not get a scholarship. And in fact, it was a one time where my father called me and he was like, hey son, I'm sorry, but we maxed out on our mortgage and we're not gonna be able to pay for your tuition. So back then, my younger self, I'm like, damn, like that hurts. Like I gotta go home, I'm here, I'm getting good grades, I gotta be average. But now as a father, I understand how important that conversation was. And what ended up happening was I met with my head coach. The conversation was weird. It started off like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know that there's gonna be people that are bigger and better than Gary Brackett. I was like, look, bro, like I'm good. Like just send me off. I just want to say congratulations and thanks for opportunity. But then he says, hey, but you work really hard. You're first in line. You give it all you got. And I wish I had 100 Gary Bracketts on my team. So he gives me a scholarship. Then I go inside the weight room. And this is the moment that changed my life. And I hope someone watching this, and maybe you could tag someone that needs to hear this. And this is where it gets really good. But I'll go in there. Wesley Robinson is in there. He's this big 6'3", 250-pound linebacker. He my man. I hope he ain't watching this. We used to say he looked like Tarzan to play like Jane. Hope I don't see him. But he was my man. He did get a shot in the league, Kansas City, so he was a baller. Just joking. But he comes up to me when I'm talking to my guys, and he was like, scholarship, you should worry about starting. And I was like, who, me starting? Little old me? Like, nah, I ain't trying. I wanted like a full meal plan. And the craziest thing is just like because of my own limitations, that's what I thought of. That's all I wanted. And a lot of times we got to be careful because like what we think of actually like starts gravitating and getting pulled to us. So we got to focus and concentrate on things that we really want. And if we haven't done the work, you got to do the work to really think of what that is. What does that look like? How much money do you want to make? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of family do you want to have? All those things shouldn't happen by chance. They should happen by your own personal design. So I asked myself that night, like, what do I do? What do I do? I get proper rest and nutrition. I got to develop a morning routine. I got to max out in the weight room. Always do one more rep. Study film. Be early. All those things. And also, I had to take away a lot of things. I had to stop drinking so much, right? I had to stop eating pizza at 12 o'clock at night. This is college, right? You studying late night, you eat pizza and drink beer. And I realized that after I signed the contract with Life, I call it signing your life contract, renegotiating it. After I did that, I became a starter, and also I became a 2-time MVP of the team. I'm in the Rutgers Hall of Fame. Like that same little boy who was almost like ashamed to get a scholarship and ashamed to say he wanted to be a starter is now in the Hall of Fame in the NC2A school. And I think all of us has the opportunity, and I love this poem, and it really changed my life, and I'm gonna share it with you tonight. It said, I bargained with life for a penny, and life will pay no more. However, I begged in the evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer, he gives you what you ask, but once you accept the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a meals hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I would ask of life, life would have surely paid. So the question to me is like, what is your ask of life? Like what is your ask of life? Is it the same ask of last year, the year before? Like if you're really trying to finish 2022 strong, if you're really trying to gain some momentum to have next year be your best year, like what is your ask? And guess what happens? When you up your ask, you also gotta up your give. Right? We can't do the same activities. We can't do the same things that we always been doing and expect a different result. Right? That's insanity. That's not how it works, right? So the question is, what are you willing to bargain? What are you willing to do? And I'm here to tell you, like, I signed the contract, I put in the work, and not only was I MVP, I went on to Indianapolis Colts, right? Shout out to my coach, shout out to Jeff Saturday. I was a captain for 6 years, and we were Super Bowl champions just because I signed that life contract. And the great thing about that contract, it became those things that I did became habitual. Those things that I did just became who I was, right? And then I just feel like every single day of my life, I wake up, my goals, like I want to be a champion. Like, what would a champion do? How would he work out? How would he eat? What conversations would he have? Right? And this is a common question I get, like, how do you define it? Right? And the mindset of a champion is flexible and strong. Like, I understand I'm strong, but I also understand that there's room for growth, that I don't know everything. Champions harbor the ability to cope with setbacks and obstacles. I had my fair share of obstacles, right? Some man-made, some made by me. But either or, right, I was able to overcome them. They also have a strong will to succeed and overcome any adversity that comes their way, right? So as a champion, right, it's not because you're perfect. It's not because everything is great. It's because you take messy action. It's because you're strong. It's because you grow. It's because you don't hide. You don't run, right? And then the habits, right? The habits consist of being willing to learn. The champions are willing to take action. Champions are willing to adjust. Champions dream big. Champions change their relationship with their future. And what I mean by changing your relationship with your future is like, envision yourself as your highest and best self. What would that look like? Like your future is not written yet. Like, you still, what you do today, like the seeds that you sow, the work that you put in, is going to ultimately determine your future. So it's all up to us in terms of like how it's gonna work out. It's this one of these books that I read that talked about the definition of hell is when you die, meeting the person that you could have been. And that person looks nothing like you look, because that person is in shape. He's chiseled. That person, took care of his skin and his teeth and his hair. And that's not how you look like, because you let your standards slip. And I just want to encourage you to become a champion. I want to encourage you to do what it takes to understand this mission that you're on and to give it your all, right? And despite what people think, despite what people say, like, none of that should matter. This is your life to live. You got one life, and you need to start living it. So I just wanted to encourage somebody today. That was on my heart, so I wanted to share that. I'm kind of fired up after my coaching call. But that's it. You should be a champion. Like, you deserve that for yourself. And if you need help, and if you look for an area that you need to be a champion, please DM me, private message me. I'm creating some more programs about how you could be a champion in every area of your life. I'm also helping people create courses. So I'm constantly want to serve people. I want to live in my genius, and I want to share it with people and help other people, add value to people so they can see what this online game is about, this money is about, this course creation is about, this living the championship lifestyle is about. Once you get there, man, it's a beautiful thing to maintain. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Share this or tag somebody in here that you think needs to hear that thinks you need to finish the year strong to be a champion. Email me if you're interested in a little bit of help, if you need help getting there. And my vision, right, my mission is to determine more leaders and less followers. And I appreciate you tapping in, because I want you to be a leader. I want you to live your best life. I want you to become a champion. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon.